You ever feel the ground tremble before the truck even comes into view? That's not just horsepower. That's history rumbling down the highway. Today, we're diving into something that makes every trucker's heart race. The biggest, baddest engines ever put into a semi-truck. These aren't your average workhorses. These are mechanical giants. The kind of engines that push the limits of what we thought was even possible on the road. We're talking 24 cylinders, engines so large they had to be modified to even fit inside a rig. We'll visit legends from the past, monsters from the mining world, and even an engine that powers entire ships. Yes, ships. But this isn't just about raw power. It's about the legacy of machines and the people who drove them. Because out here, on the open road, engine size isn't just a stat. It's a statement. So buckle up, driver. This ride's gonna be loud. And hey, you're watching Trucks Life TM, the YouTube channel made for those who live behind the wheel. If you love diesel, chrome, and a good engine story, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and stay with us till the last gear shifts. Let's fire up the first beast. You won't believe what they did to create this mechanical animal. They didn't just build this engine, they stitched it together like a mad experiment. The Detroit Diesel 24 Phi-71 was literally two V12 engines fused into one, creating a fire-breathing monster with 24 cylinders. That's right, 24. If you thought a V8 growled, imagine what this sounded like. Some say it roared like a helicopter on steroids. Originally, these engines weren't meant for your average highway hauler, but that didn't stop truck enthusiasts from doing the unthinkable, dropping it into custom Peterbilts and Kenworths, just to see if the roads could handle it. And barely, just barely, they could. With a displacement of 1,670 horsepower, this beast didn't purr, it howled. Cooling it was a nightmare. Balancing it was an art. But for those who dared to make it work, the reward was unmatched torque and a show-stopping presence at any truck rally. Some of these builds were purely for exhibition. Drag runs, truck shows, diesel shootouts. But every now and then, someone brave, or crazy, drove one of these monsters down an actual highway. What made the 24 V71 legendary wasn't just the numbers. It was the sheer audacity. It was proof that in the trucking world, when someone says, "You can't do that," someone else replies, "Watch me." And just when you thought that was the peak of insanity, the next engine makes this one look almost modest. If the Detroit was crazy, this one is straight-up industrial madness. The Cummins QSK95 wasn't originally designed for trucks at all. It was built to power trains, mining equipment, and massive generators. But in the hands of the right truck enthusiast, even an engine made for a locomotive can become roadworthy. Sort of. This monster features 16 cylinders, a jaw-dropping 95-liter displacement, and cranks out an earth-shaking 4,400 horsepower. That's not a typo. This engine doesn't growl, it shakes cities. Some custom builders looked at this engine and said, "Why not?" So they mounted it, somehow, into heavily reinforced frames of trucks, like custom Freightliners and experimental rigs used for diesel expos and demonstrations. These weren't made for the interstate. These were built for show, and boy, did they deliver. Cooling systems the size of hot tubs, exhaust stacks that looked like missile silos, and frames modified to handle the crushing weight. It was engineering insanity, but it worked. Standing next to one of these rigs, you don't hear it, you feel it, in your chest, in your teeth. It's like standing next to a thunderstorm wrapped in chrome. While the Cummins QSK95 may never see a loading dock or back up to a warehouse, its presence in the trucking world is unforgettable. It's proof that the line between truck and train isn't as thick as we thought. Now let's shift gears into something a little more grounded, a legendary engine that actually worked the roads for decades. After the outrageous giants, it's time to meet a true working-class hero, the CAT 3408. Unlike the Detroit 24 Phi-71 or the Cummins QSK95, this engine wasn't just for shows or diesel drag strips. It actually did the job. Day in, day out. Rain, snow, or desert sun. This engine hauled America's freight. Launched in the 1970s, the CAT 3408 was Caterpillar's answer to the growing demand for durable, high-horsepower diesel engines. With 8 cylinders, a displacement of 18 liters, and up to 550 horsepower, it became a favorite among long-haul drivers who needed power and unshakable reliability. What made it special wasn't just the raw numbers, it was how long it lasted. Many drivers report putting over 1 million miles on a single 3408 before needing a rebuild. That's not a machine, that's a companion. It found its home in trucks like the Peterbilt 379 and the Kenworth W900, powering them across interstates, mountain passes, and endless flatlands. Its signature deep growl became the soundtrack of the American highway. Today, the CAT 3408 is no longer in production, but its legacy lives on. Restored rigs still roll proudly into shows and events, keeping the legend alive. And while it was built to work, not to shock, it proved that greatness doesn't always have to be excessive. But make no mistake, what's coming next is both iconic and colossal. You thought the CAT 3408 was impressive? Wait until you meet the Cummins VT, a 2870, a war horse that crossed over from military service to the open road. Originally designed for tanks and heavy-duty military vehicles, this engine didn't just roll, it dominated. The VTA 2870 features 12 cylinders arranged in a V formation and a displacement of 28 liters. Depending on the setup, it could push out up to 900 horsepower, a number that, even today, commands respect. When custom truck builders started dropping this beast into semis like Kenworth K100s and Peterbilt 359s, the results were jaw-dropping. These rigs weren't just about brute power, they were about making a statement. Towering stacks, reinforced frames, oversized intakes. It was a show of strength that turned heads from coast to coast. The sound? It was less of a rumble and more of a detonation. You didn't just hear a VTA 2870. You felt the shockwave. Truck stops would go silent when one pulled in, just so everyone could listen. It wasn't just for show, either. With the right build, these trucks could haul just about anything, anywhere. It blurred the line between military-grade engineering and civilian overkill. But as jaw-dropping as this one is, nothing, and we mean nothing, comes close to the monster we're about to unleash. Get ready for the largest diesel engine ever put into motion. This is it, the apex predator of diesel engines. If the previous motors were beasts, then the Wärtsilä Sulzer RT Flex 96C is a diesel god. Originally designed for cargo ships, this engine is so massive that it stands taller than a 5-story building and weighs more than 2,000 metric tons. So what's it doing in a video about truck engines? Well, some custom builders dared to dream. They didn't install the whole thing, obviously, but they modeled builds and scaled down tributes around its design, paying homage to the most powerful internal combustion engine ever created. The RT Flex 96C boasts 14 cylinders, producing a mind-blowing 107,000 horsepower. Yes, you heard that right. 107,000. It was built to push massive cargo vessels across oceans, yet it's found legendary status in the truck world as a symbol of ultimate diesel dominance. Some show rigs, displayed at expos in Europe and the United States, have incorporated scaled replicas of this engine's components, massive turbo systems, replica intakes, and decorative exhausts to recreate the aura of this mechanical giant. It's more than an engine. It's a marvel of engineering, a monument to what humans can build when there are no limits. And now, as we roll to a stop after exploring these monsters of torque and steel, it's time to reflect on what they really mean for the men and women behind the wheel. So, what do these engines really represent? Sure, they're loud, powerful, and massive, but they're more than machines. They're symbols of human ambition, engineering courage, and that never-quit attitude that every trucker knows deep down. From the stitched-together chaos of the Detroit 24-71 to the thunderous heart of the Wärtsilä Sulzer, each of these engines tells a story. A story of builders who refused to settle, of drivers who pushed the limits, of machines that didn't just haul freight, they moved the world. And in the end, it's not really about the size of the engine. It's about the spirit behind the wheel, the men and women who chase the horizon, who spend nights under stars in truck stops, who hear the hum of the road like a heartbeat. These engines are a tribute to you. So whether you're rolling with a Cat, a Cummins, or a straight six that's never let you down, remember, it's not the badge on the hood. It's the grit in your soul that counts. Thanks for riding with us today. If you felt the ground shake, if your heart raced a little, then do us one favor. Hit that subscribe button and join the Trucks Life TEM family. Because out here, it's more than a job. It's a way of life. Until next time, keep the shiny side up and the diesel burning.